Hello, welcome to this update for the severe weather parts of the US. So let's see here some changes that we had. So today is April 22nd, we have this big slight risk that goes all the way from Texas to Kansas. And these two marginal risks, one from Texas to Illinois and another one from Texas to North Carolina. So a big area today. So let's see, there's these two areas of 2% tornado threat. One around Kansas and Oklahoma, another one in Texas and New Mexico. So nothing crazy, but be careful in those areas just in case. There's wind that's 15 and 5% in all the areas, so be careful, some damaging gusts in those storms. Plus hail, it's the same, 15 and 5%. These areas from Texas to Kansas and Texas to Illinois, the 5%, and there's these two isolated areas of 5% in the Carolinas and spots of the South. So isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms will be possible across parts of southern central plains. Mainly this afternoon and evening, large hail and severe gusts will be the main threats. So be careful in those areas. There's still day 2. They have a slight risk now for Wednesday. And tomorrow, spots of Texas and New Mexico as well. And this marginal that goes all the way from Texas to Wyoming and as far east as Iowa. So be careful. There's the 2% tornado threat, a very thin, long one from Texas to Kansas. There's this wind threat, 15 and 5%, that's the slight risk. And the hail threat is also the slight risk, 15 and 5%. So be careful in those areas. Isolate severe thunderstorms possible, parts of central southern high plains on Wednesday. So be careful tomorrow in those areas too. Have some ways to receive warnings and everything. It's nothing that crazy, but just be careful. And there's this margin risk for Thursday still on day 3. Texas, Oklahoma, spots of southern Kansas. There's this 5% chance of severe weather. So isolated severe storms are possible on Thursday from western Texas and Oklahoma into southern Kansas. So be careful in those areas. And you might think it ends here, but it doesn't. Next Monday, day 7, we do have a 15% array. It goes all the way from Oklahoma to North Dakota. So this is a pretty big area, and it's worth watching. So day 6 through 8, a more active severe weather period is possible into early next week. As the western US trough develops eastward into the plains and Great Lakes vicinity, the upper trough may begin ejecting into the southern central plains as early as day 6 Sunday. However, the timing of this feature may be ill-timed with peak diurnal heat destabilization, such as stronger large-scale ascent increasing suddenly flow aloft arrive overnight. So the forecast Sunday afternoon suggests capping may limit convection. That's why there's nothing for day 6. But by Monday, day 7, a strong mid-level jet stream should overspread parts of central southern plains to the upper Midwest. Lee's psychogenesis is forecast across central high plains, resulting in a sharpening dry line across parts of the Great Plains and warm front extending across the eastern Dakotas and Mississippi Valley. Rich Gulf moisture will be in place for much of the warm sector, and widely scattered severe thunderstorms appear possible Monday afternoon into Monday night. So be careful. They do say all hazards possible for the severe weather episodes like wind, hail, and tornadoes for next Monday. So please be careful. But it's still a week out, so this will change, of course, but just keep that in mind. But for now, it's still the 22nd, so focus on being careful on the severe weather that's happening today. So one thing at a time, but just keep in mind for next week. So here does show this area today. The dotted green line some general storms possible, and the severe weather in the yellow. And we do have a few areas of mixed precipitation still in the Rockies and the Northeast. Day 2 still in the Rockies, some mixed precipitation, the severe weather in yellow, and day 3 some flash flooding possible and more storms. So just a marginal risk of excessive rainfall all the way from New Mexico to North Carolina. Day 1 today, so be careful. Some of those storms might have some heavy rain. Day 2 from Texas to Kansas, spots of southern Nebraska and to Wyoming, Colorado as well, even to Iowa and Missouri. This marginal risk, so still be careful the rain from that storms. But day 3 will be heavier, spots of Kansas and Oklahoma, Missouri, even northwesternmost Arkansas, and this marginal around it, so be careful some flash flooding. Day 4 from Arkansas to Ohio, day 5 two marginal risk, one in the northeast and one in Texas to Kansas. And the thing with this is that day one through 5 precipitation shows some hot spots in Kansas and Oklahoma, be the heaviest rainfall totals. Kansas might get close to 5 inches, 4.5 to 5 inches, spots of Kansas next 5 days. So be careful, summer rain for the southeast, south, except Florida. Poor Florida, it's still dry, but yeah, be careful the drought. And more rain in the northeast for 5 days as well. In the southwest, very dry too. And day 1 through 7 does increase slightly more than day 1 through 5, but yeah, mainly in the plains in those areas and more through the northwest and spots of the northern plains. So be careful. There's still no spots of Canada today, even the Rockies, Wyoming, day 3, day 4, maybe later after day 4 in the northwest again, and Rockies day 6, day 7. But be aware, in those areas there's still. Let's see if the significant tornado parameter has something for today. Not really anything, just some sneaky spots, like the HER has some very minor parameter spots of Iowa later in the afternoon today, in between Kansas and Oklahoma, in that 2% that they put it right in that area of Kansas and Oklahoma. This by the evening, alright, 1Z, so be careful there. Just in case a quick spin up or something. And still later in the evening, some slight parameters in Texas, in northern Mexico, into Kansas and Oklahoma. Very minor parameters, but just be careful. And now, if I put it until Thursday for the updraft list, that shows more severe storms around Kansas possible, and also western Texas, some spots there. So be careful in those areas. I think or two in North Carolina, but the hotspot mainly Kansas and Texas. So stay safe in those areas. There's the Cape here. The European does show this evening more Cape in Oklahoma. The European is very high in Oklahoma. That Cape in Texas, and all the way to Illinois. There's the HER, let's see if it shows true. It does show in southern Oklahoma to 2,000 joules per kilogram, and especially southern Kansas, where there's the 2% tornado threat, even closer to 2,000 joules per kilogram as well. More Cape in Texas, western Texas, so the atmosphere is very juicy for those storms, but this is not a high-end event, it's very slight, but just be aware, there's a lot of Cape as well. So there's the HER. The HER starts showing the storms late, so this is around late evening. It shows some in Texas, and that shows some across southern Kansas later as well in the evening. So be careful in those areas. Shows that's no southern Canada there, and shows some sneaky marginal risk storms in the southeast. Just be careful, but nothing that crazy. And there's here like for later on, there's the European shows those storms there this week, today into Wednesday, those storms in the plains, Thursday, and that show Friday, this goes Saturday, that show a thing or two Saturday in Texas there, some storms, and here the 0Z shows like those storms. The European not showing much Monday, yeah, but it does have that low pressure there, North Dakota, but it's further north than the forecast that they has. There's the GFS by Monday as well, and shows further north. But the storms might be on the southern side here. But there's still a lot of time for that. Just be aware. There's the European shoe for these temperatures. Let's see spots of Canada first. Show still those negative temperatures for further in northern Canada. Very cold still, especially in Nunavut. The south is milder, some spots negative still during the day, but the south is much milder. This goes, but at night it's a different story. Shows like some -4 in Ontario, further south -14 in the mountains. In Nunavut, even to -22, spots of Labrador and Quebec, those negative temperatures. The extreme south is a little above zero, but still cold. And during the day, it's actually better, like southernmost Ontario, close to like 18 degrees. Some other spots of the west, milder too, but the extreme north still cold, including Alaska. So be aware. Some days, like Thursday morning, they'll show those negative temperatures reaching as far south as the northern U.S. So be careful, especially in Nunavut, very cold. Then this goes Thursday, Friday, shows much milder Saturday afternoon, but still Sunday morning in northern Quebec colder. In the north, just remains cold in the mountains, in the west as well. So beware Sunday, the next Monday, and yeah, generally it's much milder in the south, but these cold waves will continue in the north central, those little cold waves. So be aware those areas, but nothing crazy. There's here for the US. Let's see if there's anything interesting. So shows today here, day one, if it appears here because it's working very slow today, but it does show here. Alright, it's Samay is in the south, southeast, even close to 90 in Florida. Spots in the southwest, some 90s already. During the night, still shows some 20s, 30s in the northernmost plains, some 40s and some 20s things in the mountains. So yeah, be aware still. But during the day, a big portion of the country tomorrow, Wednesday, some 80s, 70s, some 90s in the southwest as well. Some even some high 80s in Florida, close to 90s, a little bit milder to cold still in the north in the mountains. Some 30s, 20s still in the mountains in the north Thursday morning, and spots there some things even in the mountains, and Thursday afternoon shows those is in the south still some 70s scared about, and some 80s as far north as Ohio, shows some 90s in the southwest still. For Friday morning, still some 20s things in the mountains, some 30s in the northernmost plains, the northeast some 40s, and the mountains in California still some things. And there's day 4, shows Friday, spot to the south, those days continued southeast, southwest. Then Saturday morning, still cold in the Rockies and the Sierra Nevada in the west, and warmer in the southeast. And this trend continues still by Saturday afternoon, some 90s in the southeast, some 70s, but some 50s, say 60s for the north. And in the southwest, still some 70s, but not as warm as before because still shows Sunday morning those colder temperatures in the west, especially the Sierra Nevada, some teens, low teens, and still shows next Sunday afternoon some 90s and 80s in the south, and some 70s, some 60s, 50s in the northeast, and there's like day 6 next Monday morning shows still some teens, 20s in the mountains and some 40s spots there. And then day 7 afternoon, next Monday afternoon, shows some 90s in the south and 80s, some 80s as far north as Iowa. So be careful. Those are still spotted with gusty winds in the Rockies, northern plains, a mountain or two in the northeast, and a mountain or two in Southern California. But nothing crazy. Just be aware. Ice, not really, and snow shows like next 2 days, not that much. Just Montana and Wyoming, still some snow in Sparta 2 in Idaho. So be aware those areas, but nothing that crazy. There's rain here, still those storms, the plains. Be careful in Kansas, spots to the south, more rain. Those orange red areas, more than 2 inches. So be aware those areas. Now here, just to analyze something, the GFS. There's like for next week. Let's see if we find it here. So this is today, Thursday. Let's see, we find Sunday and Monday. So the GFS does have this trough coming around next Sunday, but it has a further south there. But by Monday, it still has that trough arriving almost on the plains, but especially later Monday, it has a very like messy, but it does show this trough curving to the northern, central northern plains, where that 15% is for the severe weather. So be aware those areas. We'll keep monitoring this. There's like this at 500 millibars. There's the 300 millibar one as well. It shows, but it doesn't show as it shows different than 500 millibars, but it does show this trough kind of coming as well. So be careful in those areas, and yeah, stay safe. The snow for Canada still shows like, where is it here? Shows spots of western Canada, some snow still. There is snow in southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan now Tuesday, and a little bit in Quebec. This goes some in Newfoundland Thursday, and still around Yukon, Northwestern Territories, because of that low pressure near Alaska. Still shows by Saturday, Northwestern Territories more snow, potentially to Nunavut next Monday. So we'll keep watching this. And does have next Tuesday, still stuff on the west there, some snow. And the European has some massive stuff next Wednesday, the 30th. But that's a little bit. There might be a next system to watch, because what we have for now, the severe weather, is for next Monday. So be careful in those areas, and especially some snow and everything. And talking about Alaska, it does show now Tuesday some snow southern Alaska around here, and more southwestern Alaska spots. In spots there, there's low pressure Thursday, Friday, potential another small front Saturday. Actually, there's still like Friday night spots of southwestern Alaska and southern Alaska. So be aware that snow too still shows some stronger gusts in the Atlantic. That low pressure goes away, but sometimes, like in interior parts of the US, this goes. Sometimes the Arctic Ocean there. Next Saturday, Sunday shows maybe stronger gusts in the northeast into Atlantic Canada, especially in Labrador. Shows Tuesday, the 29th, and that shows some widespread strong gusts already in the US by that time as well, especially Monday, next Monday, spots of the southwest watching some strong gusts in northern Labrador, spots of Canada. But we'll keep watching this. Especially shows Thursday, uh, slightly breezier spots on Nunavut, but nothing really that crazy. So stay safe in those areas. And finally, new snow here shows spots of Northwestern Territories and Nunavut next 5 days, like until Sunday, and spots of Yukon as well. More snows, even spots to 14, 36 centimeters. In Nunavut, a little bit less, so some 8, 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters. In Alaska, shows more there. And shows some more spots of British Columbia in the mountains there, especially. So beware that snow in southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba shows spots of Quebec, northern Quebec, next 5 days, some 14 to 17 centimeters, some in Newfoundland too. So be aware, there's some very small spots in Ontario. There's the GFS shows like The GFS is further south, has like some snow to northern Manitoba and southern Nunavut in the northwestern territories. But there's the icon. The icon also shows northern Manitoba and southern Nunavut the snow, even to like 24 centimeters, 27, especially close to 40 in the northwestern territories. Spots of Yukon, so be careful. And the icons also spots of Quebec, even to 38 centimeters. Newfoundland, some more. So be aware in those areas. In terms of rain, shows some more rain in general. Next 5 days, southern Quebec and Ontario, spots of Atlantic Canada, more rain as well, and those areas. So be aware. There's here this quick snow spots of Alaska, shows like southern Alaska, spots to 24 inches, 30 inches, 8 inches, central Alaska 2 to 3 inches, but the mountains there more than 10, 20 inches. So be aware, those there is some in westernmost Alaska as well. So be careful. From those severe storms and everything. Stay safe. Let's just see if the her has something different here, because the her, to say at the very least, has a pretty wild picture this evening. It shows like those storms start firing in western Texas, some in Oklahoma and Kansas. This about uh, in the evening, late afternoon, into the evening. Show some small cells in the south and southeast as well. Those will probably be less severe than the ones in Texas and Oklahoma, but there's still a marginal risk there. So be careful. Then shows as you go into the night more severe storms in Texas. So be careful, but especially these initial ones, those initial supercells in Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas. And you see that in northern Mexico, some storms as well. That's northern province. So be careful if you are there too. There's like south, we can see a little bit better. Shows the storms in Texas there, in Oklahoma, but they show those sneaky storms in Mexico. So let me say this. Si estás al norte de México, cerca de Texas, es posible unas tormentas severas hoy al extremo norte de México en estas zonas así. Entonces, precauciones y estas tormentas puede haber granizo grande así, viento fuerte y quizás algún tornado, pero pouca probabilidade. Entonces, muitas precauciones así más tarde, esta tarde hoy, dia 22. So stay safe there. Be careful those storms.